Good day, Minecraft veterans! Today we'll be surviving 100 days of hardcore Minecraft and revisiting our childhoods. Yes, you heard me correct, we'll be going down memory lane. Since this video took me a very long time to make, 9 months to edit, I'd appreciate it if you left a like on the video, click the subscribe button, because according to YouTube statistics, you most likely aren't subscribed, and please, comment down below your favorite memories and which country you're from. But any which way guys, enough of me rambling, and enjoy the video. Starting things off with day 1, I chopped down an oak tree, got some stone tools and a furnace, and then went around to explore a part of a cave, which led me to some iron. After that, I smelted up some of the wood for charcoal so I could make a few torches. And then I used my stone axe to chop down more trees, and along the way, found a pink sheep. As some of my iron was smelting, I got it and made shears to get wool. And on my first try with the black sheep, I got 3 black wool, and then kept shearing some of the sheep, including that pink sheep, which surprisingly also dropped 3 wool. After that, I got a bucket of lava and used it to cook some animals, but would sometimes burn myself in the process. Ouch! After that, I found a village and decided this is the place I'll settle for the night. So in day 2, I decided since I was in the village to check some villager trades, and since I saw some hay bales, I decided to steal the villagers' hay bales. And then also when I saw an iron golem, I decided why not take the iron golem down and get some iron. And after doing all that, I decided, you know what, let me burn some more animals while I'm at it. But sometimes would once again burn myself in the process. God, I need to stop this. And then after that, when I was looking around and exploring, even probably burning a few of the animals, I cleared out a part of the mountain to make a temporary home because I was like, you know what, it wasn't good to live with the villages and I felt like I need my own house. And made a small house in the mountain that was covering the village, so I could then take a look at the village and like keep an eye on them. So as I dug it out, I decided why not, let me set up my house by putting the crafting bench, making chests and furnaces. And I lit up the inside of my house with some torches and chopped down some acacia trees to make my own bed, and then got a nice glimpse of the sunset and took a screenshot of me outside of my home for the thumbnail and went off to bed.
Day 3, I tried to cook some animals, but once again, almost cooked myself.
Bruh.
After that, I also explored the area and found some caves, and in the caves, I found some more iron and coal and mined it, as well as I fought off a zombie. And after fighting off the zombie, I explored the cave further and saw how deep it was, but then backed out immediately seeing that, okay, this is too deep. And then carried on by cooking some more food with the lava bucket I was using. After like getting a little bit of food and stuff, I put my iron for smelting in the furnaces and chopped down more oak trees around the mountain, and then went off to bed. On day 4, I decided to do the following. Put my remaining wool in the chest, craft up a leather chestplate, and even empty out my inventory, and set up a wheat farm. I also used the lava once again to cook some more animals. I refilled my water bucket, and made some bread from the wheat, or hay bales I stole from the villagers. Crafted up some iron and stone tools to get ready for like the mines, and start my mining journey soon. From days 5 through 9, I started off by mining, and I thought, you know what, I should mine and get some diamonds. So I started off by mining and kept digging down up to like Y level 12. This is the level where diamonds usually spawn. And around Y level 12, I set up a place there for me to smelt up and store some of my resources in case if I need to like smelt my ores, store some tools, store some blocks, you get the point. And as I was exploring and like mining down, I found a huge cave and even had to fight some mobs there. And after that, I kept mining for what seemed like a few hours, and as I was mining, I found an underground ruin portal, and believe it or not, I found diamonds. But unfortunately, it was only 2 diamonds at first, but that would soon change, as while I was exploring and fighting more mobs, I eventually found more diamonds. But after finding the more diamonds and stuff, I ended up running out of torches, so instead of having to use torches, I ended up having to get some lava and use that as my light source, even sometimes accidentally burning myself almost to death once. After that, I find my way around a cave and back to the tunnels I made when mining, which leads me to my staircase, where I just go back. I make a diamond sword and pickaxe just to put aside the iron and stone tools, and then decided, you know what, I have had enough with the mine, I'm gonna go back up. And I left my iron ores and all the other ores smelting in the furnace like in my house, right up on the surface, and decided, you know what, let me explore the village more. I'm more kitted out, I have more armor, got better tools, probably like the most strongest ones, and then explored the village, checked to see if there's anything around more, and explored something across what seemed like a river, and on the other side of the villages, I found a place with a ravine and a potential place to build my own house. I did explore that cave too and ran into mobs, a mine shaft, and guess what? Even more diamonds, something I was not expecting. Then, I came back to the surface and mined some obsidian for an enchantment table. On day 10, well, most of the day I forgot I wasn't recording, but I ended up fighting a few mobs and just went off to bed. On day 11, I tried repairing my iron armor, but I couldn't because I didn't have that many levels. Although it kinda sucked I couldn't do it, but then after that I was like, I need an enchantment table and some bookshelves, so I thought I'd collect some sugarcane and sand that I found near the village and made a sugarcane farm right outside of my house. And then after that I took down some animals and even fought a few mobs and made my enchanting table as a last thing of the day. On day 12 I decided to carve out an area for my AFK fish farm, thinking, you know what, I need a farm just because I need some food and some levels. Just saying, I do have a tutorial on this on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link about that in the description below. But enough about that. So I carve out the area a little bit. And after that, I decided, you know what, I need to go in the cave to explore. And probably get my redstone. So I end up exploring the cave, get the redstone, and finish off and set up my AFK fish farm, and then just go off to bed. From days 13 through 36, I decided, you know what, I need to AFK fish farm. So what I did was I left the AFK fish farm on overnight and decided, you know what, I'll just go to bed and leave this running. From days 37 through 38, after I did my AFK fish farming overnight, I decided, you know what, now is the time for me to build up a house. So I found an area and started digging out for what was going to be the place for my house. And then after that, I set up some chests and a crafting table there. And unfortunately, since my house is going to be a pretty big project, I decided, you know what, I'll sleep in my old house like where I survived my first night. From days 39 through 40, I thought, you know what, I'd cook up the fish I got from my farm in case if I get hungry, and thought it'd be a good food source. And then after I got the cooked up fish, I decided, you know what, I'll make a boat and set sail to the place where I was building up my house. Getting ready to build it up, I should say. And then when I went up to that place, I started to keep making the area flat for my house, and while I was digging out the area to make sure it'd be leveled for my house, I also fought off some mobs at night, and kept digging the area out, and was lucky enough to survive that night. On day 41, I started off by getting some materials from my house, and after I got a good amount of materials, like the wood, cobblestone, you name it, I used a boat to get to my house, to where I was building. Like, the place, you know, where I was building and had the land leveled out. And I started off by making a diagram for my house. I started building it up a little bit with cobblestone. On day 42, I started building up my house with wooden planks after the cobblestone was done and in the right levels. After that, as I was building it up, I started to realize, oh no, I'm running out of wood. So I had to collect more oak wood and had to chop down a lot more oak trees. After I chopped down a ton of trees, I decided, you know what, I'd lit up the first floor of my house. On day 43, I went back to my old house in the mountains to collect some materials. I know I ran out of materials again, and was like, you know what, instead of being near my house for once, or that house that's under construction I should say, I'll go back to my house where I survived the first night. And I decided, you know what, I'll go there, and I chopped down some oak trees and used some of their logs to build up my home, and started to build on the second level more. And then after that, I just went to bed outside my house that's under construction. From days 44 through 45, I chopped down more trees, collected some sand for windows in my house, put furnaces next to my chests so I can smelt more, and then decided, you know what, I'll keep building up the second floor of my house. On day 46, I decided, you know what, I needed to collect more wood. So I started off by bone mealing a lot of trees, and got the wood there. Then, after I got a good amount of wood, I ended up finishing off the second level of my house. Finally, the second level is done. One more level to go only. On day 47, I started off by working on the final floor of my house by placing in more oak logs and glasses for window. I started off by building the roof and using stairs, and went in to collect more oak wood since I kept running out of wood. But during the time, I was also beat up by a drowned who kept throwing a trident at me. Luckily though, I managed to get over it and just went off to bed. On day 48, I kept working more on the roof of the house and the final floor, obviously. I made some diagrams for how the roof should be like with some windows on that floor. And to top off the day, I MLG water bucket clutched my way down to the bed. On day 49, I chopped down more and more oak trees to get more wood for the house I kept building, as I was running out of wood pretty fast. After chopping down a lot of trees, I ended up finishing off most of the roof, besides putting in the exterior part of the stairs for the final floor. Day 50, wow, we're already halfway there. So, I ended up working a little bit more in the house, like the exterior part, and my iron axe broke while I was just trying to chop down some oak planks. And I got nearly done with the stairs part of the roof, like, the exterior part. And since I saw I ran out of wood, I was like, you know what? I'll call it a day and go to bed. On day 51, I finally finished off the roof and decided, you know what? I'll start working more on the windows of the first floor and more interior side of things within the house, with a little bit more work on the exterior porch that I'll be making soon. I mainly focused on the interior, like getting the floor ready and probably even a few windows, and who knows, maybe soon I'll get some furniture and a staircase. On day 52, I decided, you know what, I'll work more on the exterior part of things, like where the balcony and porch will be, and while I was working on that, I realized, oh no, I had to go back to my first night house, or the mountain house, to get more materials, as I nearly ran out of the materials, and started smelting stone to cobblestone, cobblestone to stone, sorry, and then make it into smooth stone, which was quite a long process, as well as I'd also smelt some sand I'd find for glass, and even collected more wood to get fuel for the furnaces. On day 53, I decided, you know what, I'll keep smelting more of my cobblestone and turning it into smooth stone. On top of that, since I was in my old house, or soon to be old house like how I was saying, I harvested my sugarcane and took my smooth stone to the home I was building, and started building up the balcony. And while I was building up everything, I started to see that a lot of the land was not flat, so I had to terraform a little bit of the land, so I did that in the process. On day 54, it was raining, and I ended up deciding, you know what, on this rainy day, I'll collect up more wood, because once again, I ran out. After I got all that wood, I completed off my balcony with a few fences, and even added some windows to my house. And decided, you know what, since I needed some more smooth stone, I went off to my mountain house, where I left some of it smelting, and then came back on day 55. After chopping down a lot of trees, I decided, you know what, I'm taking off my armor because its durability was getting low. On day 56, I collected more smooth stone and glass from my furnaces. I also took down a spider in daylight. After that, I chopped down more oak trees near my old house, because near my new house, as I had chopped down so many trees, you'd have to travel a huge distance to chop down more and find more oak trees. On top of that, on the way, I even sheared a few more sheep, made a few beds, and for once, instead of using a boat, I swam up to my new house and finished off my porch and replaced the interior floor to wood from dirt. On day 57, I made a staircase in my brand new home that would connect floors 1 and 2. I also made some walls for my interior so I can separate out the room. I also had to once again chop down more trees, and even accidentally broke more glass. And after all that, I finally managed to sleep in my new home. Finally, at last, this new comfortable home I'm able to sleep in. On day 58, I made 2 rooms for my 3rd floor, even separated the staircases in a different room. After that, since a lot of my old stuff was in the old home, I had to go back to that old house to enchant my armor, and thought, you know what, I'll also try to AFK fish farm for 2 minutes while I was there too. And decided, you know what, I'll call it a night and sleep off there. On day 59, I gathered up all of my enchantment tables, anvils, any of my items, including my furnaces and chests, to take to my new home. I was like, you know what, I've had enough of this place. I want to live in that comfortable home. And I decided, you know what, since there was still a little bit more work to do for my porch, I worked a little bit more on my porch once I got there, obviously, and also added some doors to my house rooms and put most of my items into chests, as I can't carry everything in the inventory. On day 60, I decided, you know what, I'll check more of my chests and furnaces to see if there was anything else I could pick up from my old home and take it to my new home. This is one final check. And after I checked that, I fought a few spiders and even a skeleton wearing gold armor that day, and somehow I managed to get the skeleton to hit another spider with its arrow. And the spider even took down the skeleton, who thought he was king. After that, I went back to my new house to put some more of the items into chests as a move-in day once again. I got the last bits of my items from my chests in the old house and shifted it all the way to the new house. On day 61, I got some birchwood to make more chests, as birchwood was the closest wood to my new home. I also set up my enchantment table and anvils with a few chests. On top of that, I decided to go back near my old home to get some obsidian and obtain it to make a nether portal, like plans for a nether portal later down the line. On day 62, I broke out of the house since I was too lazy to walk out from the front door. I ended up making a nether portal outside of my house and tried to complete off my porch, but somehow managed to be a few blocks short. I ended up going into the nether to get some netherrack and quartz and was like, you know what, the nether is a little bit too dangerous, so I ended up exiting the nether to find out that I got teleported to a portal about 60 blocks away from my new home. Thank God it wasn't too far off. I ended up spelting up more stone and finished off my porch. I even enchanted my diamond sword, pickaxe, iron axe, and shovel. Then I took down that nether portal that was on the mountain 50 blocks away from my house. On day 63, I took down a nether portal that was outside my house because I felt like it was too much of a risk where it spawned. On top of that, I took down a creeper with my enchanted diamond sword. I also mined for some wheat seeds around the area and then used a flint and steel to burn pigs and even get cooked food. And then I made a nether portal on the mountain that was behind my house when went in only to find out that God, it was the same place, making me not want to rush it too much. After that, I went to the village, one of the villages near the house, and did some fishing and took down some fish in the water to tame a cat. And decided, you know what, I'll spend the night in that village. On days 64 to 65, I tamed a cat and took it back to my old house, since I was more closer to that old house. I also decided, you know what, I'll make another nether portal on the mountain that was near my old house, and saw it took me someplace different. I ended up getting a lot of bone blocks and quartz, and then decided, you know what, I'll get out of the nether and once again use my flint and steel to cook more animals for food, and went back to my new house. On day 66, I terraformed more of the land near my house, with plans and hopes for a backyard someday. I also dug a little bit underneath my house to make plans for a basement soon. On day 67, I continued working on making that basement underneath my home, and kept cleaning out the stone and dirt that was also underneath my house. Alongside that, while I was working on the basement, I did have some water leakages too that were so annoying, but I ended up patching them up too. On day 68, I decided, you know what, I'll clear up more stone and dirt that was underneath my home. And while I was doing that, I thought about, you know what, as I came up to repair my diamond pickaxe, but instead just ended up crafting up a new iron shovel so I can preserve my diamond tools. Day 69 was more like working a little bit more on my basement, and also like going out, even touching grass, and having to get more wood for the furnaces. On days 70 through 71, I gathered up some of the stone that was smelting in the furnaces, and then decided, you know what, I need to put in more cobblestone to smelt. After that, I went around searching for some trees, and found some birch trees and chopped them down because oak trees started to get further as I chopped most of them down. This also cleared out a good chunk of the birch trees. After that, I took out some cobblestone from my chests and flattened out part of the land that was behind my home. After flattening the land, I explored a cave that seemed to look like it was going as deep as diamond level. Or so I thought. I got a little bit of coal and dug a little bit more into the cave to see if it went deeper than what it was looking like. However though, I did find more coal and iron, and later as I was going down, made tunnels that led to ravines and caves. Slowly, I made my way down and even fought off mobs, and somehow found diamonds. Yay! I also explored more of the cave, took down an enderman, who luckily dropped an enderman. I found some gold as well, and left some iron for smelting. After that, I also got a water bucket, but then realized that, you know what, I was done with the cave and needed to go back. And well, initially I had a lot of trouble finding my way back, but somehow I luckily found my way back, and when I did come back to the surface, it was late at night, but surprisingly, pretty close to my home. On days 72 to 75, I got a lot of iron pickaxe and realized I needed to start mining by digging a tunnel to diamond level, this time being more prepared, unlike the last time where I just got lucky and found diamonds. And well, this time again, I found diamonds, even got some lapis, and got back to the surface, and once again, luckily it was close to my home. On days 76 to 77, I went back to the nether, this time through the portal near my old home, and I fought some piglin brutes. While I was exploring, I also found a bastion and decided, you know what, I'll loot it, even taking the golden blocks, and along the way found some diamond leggings in one of the chests. On days 78 through 97, I was still in the nether, kinda lost, so I was trying to find my way back, which I have to say was tough and annoying. But eventually, after a lot of exploring and looking around, I finally got back to my old nether portal and made it back near my old home. When I came back, I was welcomed by a sheep trying to enter the nether. After that, I went into my old home as the AFK fish farm was there and decided, you know what, I'll leave my computer on and just go AFK for the time being. On days 98 through 99, which started off with me realizing that 100 days was almost up due to me leaving my computer on for the AFK fishing. So I quickly sprang into action and scrambled to get the materials for a dispenser and some redstone for the fireworks to happen. Now it's day 100. This day I just chilled out on the roof, just knowing that the 100 days was up. I was waiting for it to be nighttime so then I could play my music disc and watch the fireworks from my roof.
Wow, now that the 100 days is over, I'm kinda curious, how did you feel about it? And what were some of your amazing childhood memories you had while playing Minecraft? Comment that down below, I'd love to hear from you guys. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace out.